Hello folks and welcome back to Shogun Total War. I am Kana Stip, and in this army composition video I'm going to be talking about Clan Takeda. Now this is going to be a cavalry focused faction, and this is going to be the first cavalry focused faction that I've covered so far. The southern clans of Japan were more, at least in this game, represented with more of an infantry focus. So you saw just a Cav Archer General and then two Yari Cav basically as an escort slash route chasers and all of that. And in the northern clans, you're going to be seeing a bit more cavalry in my armies. And for the Takeda, that's very historically prudent, I suppose, because it is the cavalry faction. And in game, they're going to be getting a discount to all Cav units. That's insane. That's an incredible discount. I mean, that's for Cav Archers, Heavy Cav, and Yari Cav. I don't know if they get the same discount for Naginata Cavalry. This is a unit that was added in the Mongol Invasion expansion pack, so I actually don't know if they get that discount. And in addition to that, I don't know, so Shinano, the province of Shinano, gives a honor bonus to all Cav units, and again, I don't know if that is also for Naginata Cavalry. And the same question goes for the Cavalry Dojo that gives an honor bonus. Does that give honor to the Naginata Cavalry? I don't know the answers to these questions, and I can talk more about the Naginata Cavalry in a future video. I'm not going to be using them in this army composition. In general, I think that this unit kind of broke the perfect balance that was provided by the Cav Archers, the Heavy Cav, and the Yari Cav. This unit kind of took over the role of the Heavy Cav in a way. But now that I'm wondering these things that I just wondered, I'm wondering like, actually, there could be, if this doesn't get those honor bonuses and that discount, then yeah, there's definitely like more reason to take Heavy Cav over Naginata Cav in those circumstances. But anyway, for this army composition, I want to start with the template that I do use for all of my armies, just to give myself a framework and idea of how to build my armies. So 2 Yari Cav, 4 Yari Samurai, and then 4 Archers, just to give me an idea of what armies need to function, right? And then for most armies, including this one, I break the template. So for this one, what I'm going to be doing is having 3 Yari Cav rather than 2, and then I'm going to be putting in 3 more units of Cav Archers in addition to my General, and then 3 units of Heavy Cav. And then I'm just going to be doing 3 Yari Samurai and 3 Archers. So a very, very small and rather weak infantry corps. It's basically just going to serve as a position, like a fallback position slash kind of like a fulcrum point, like kind of like a centering object that my Cav can work around, so that if things ever go badly or if we just need to take difficult terrain, infantry can hold a position like a hill or a forest or something like that, where you don't want to be sending cavalry into a forest at all. And that's why, despite this being a rather strong army composition, because of the maps in this game, because they're very mountainous and hilly and forested, it can be kind of tricky to use an army composition like this in this game. But I think it can be very fun and rewarding to make it work as well. And I am not that practiced using this army composition. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to be trying out some new things in this battle that I'm going to be showcasing this army in, and we will see how that goes. You can see here we have a massive horde of cavalry here. Yeah, this is a very unbalanced army, I must say. But the thing that I'm sort of curious about, and I was inspired recently, I was watching fellow YouTuber Count MRVHS's videos where he is when he was giving army composition advice for 4th Age factions, for 4th Age for the Rome Total War. And one of the things that he was using horse archers in a column formation, and something that I never really thought of, which is using, like, having your horse archers in a column formation going up by the side of the enemy army, so that they can basically all shoot at the same time. And I thought that was really historically authentic, and I thought that made sense. Whereas opposed to, like, in many cases, what you'll see is just kind of drawing out your guys like that and in a line. And then oftentimes this can be very complicated with horse archers, because you need to get all of them essentially like in front of the enemy army so that they can all shoot. Otherwise, if you're on the flanks, then this unit is going to be able to shoot. Maybe this unit can shoot, but this unit won't be able to shoot. So then you have to like individually micro it to kind of make sure it can shoot. And it can get really sloppy and, you know, kind of tough to coordinate. And then I saw Count MRVHS deploy his guys in a column. Now, I'm very disappointed to learn that I actually don't have a column formation in this game. It exists in Medieval Total War, so I thought that it would exist here. But the closest that I can get is something like, is it this? I think this is the one I was using. So if you're wondering, I just pressed 5. This is the skirmish forward unit grouping. And this is, you know, it's something, I don't really like having the long... I was wondering as well about like the applications of using wedge formation for my horse archers just as a way to kind of make them more maneuverable. I think that wedge does kind of do that because when a unit turns, they're always waiting for the lead person to get to the point that they're going to be turning to. And then they're waiting for the other units to basically wheel around. And I think that's, I mean, I'm not a physics professor, but I feel like that's a shorter distance if that is in a wedge formation. It feels that way. If that doesn't make any sense to you, then please let me know. If that's just like really stupid. But I don't know. I feel like having the blocks, now having a shorter, deeper block might be easier to maneuver, but I feel like the wedge formation might be best. And I'm going to just give it a try in this battle and see how it works. If it feels really bad, I can change it. It's not a good formation for, you know, facing counter skirmish. You know, getting shot at with horse archers is a really bad feeling because of this dense formation. Enemy arrows that miss their target are going to hit something. So this isn't great for that. But then again, horse archers, you don't want to be shooting like in a skirmish confrontation with infantry archers anyway, because that's a losing confrontation. So I'm going to be giving this a try and seeing. I'm going to try to like, you know, localize, since I don't have column, I'm going to try to get as much firepower in the shortest front as possible and just see if this feels a bit better. I'm really bummed out that I don't have column available in this game. That is unfortunate, but I'm going to be backing them up with my Yari Cav. I'm going to be keeping my horse archers on skirmish mode just to kind of help me out. The thing is that I never want to fully have to rely on my own micro abilities to win battles. If I get in a position where I'm like, man, I didn't micro fast enough, I think that there's just a bad plan then. You know, I need to get my army in a situation where the micro aspect of the battle is the easiest part of the battle. You know, this isn't about being like a RTS micro wizard. It's about having these army compositions and these formations where the formations kind of do the work for you. You know, it's about being able to put your enemy in a position that you can predict so that you're not reacting, so that you're going, aha, yes, that's the opening that I wanted. Here we go. Let's, you know, enact our plan, right? So the idea here is having my guys on skirmish mode. If I can move them independently, manually, fine, good for me. But if I need them to run away on their own while I'm microwaving something else, then hopefully that goes okay. And I will have my 3 Yari Cav that can back them up. Anything that's going to be chasing Yari or Cav archers can probably be ganged up on by 3 units of Yari Cav, depending on what it is. But the only thing that can catch Cav archers is Yari Cav, and having 3 of them is pretty gosh darn good. In fact, I didn't give any of my Cav units a +1 honor bonus in this battle. I could have done that because in playing as the Takeda, you will be getting that honor bonus from Shinano. But I reckon we're going to be okay here. Now, for my final little section here is going to be my heavy Cav, and they're going to be kind of waiting for that gap to happen in the enemy army, where the army, I would say, might split between trying to attack my weak infantry, which it's pretty tempting, right? It looks pretty pathetic, and then my Cav archers, which are going to be annoying. And if that happens, if there is a split, then what can happen is my heavy Cav can take advantage of that and make that decisive charge in the enemy formation. My general's going to be tagging along with the cavalry in this instance. And again, this is an experiment for me. I've never really grouped my Cav general with other fighting units before, but having his leadership, it doesn't get command stars in custom battles, but like, you know, on the campaign map when you're playing a game, his command stars will actually have a big effect on the local units that are in the nearby proximity. So having him roll with the heavy cav seems like a pretty decisive thing. Just, you know, keep him out of the melee, right? And the thing is, the reason why this is flexible is that if they don't, you know, take the bait, for instance, if they just want to fight my heavy cav, they recognize this is the most dangerous part of my army, and they say, well, screw the weak side, screw the distraction pieces. The thing is that the heavy cav have good defense, good army. They're going to hold out for a while. And even though we like to think of hammer and anvil as the infantry being the anvil and the cavalry being the hammer, the thing is that it doesn't have to be that way. Heavy cav, as I just said, can hold a line. They can. They have good attack and charge, sure, but their defense and armor will hold a line, allowing, well, guess what? Cav archers, Yari cav, their high charge bonus, and then, yeah, sure, even the Yari samurai and the samurai archers. All of that stuff operating on the flanks of, you know, a quote-unquote front line of heavy cav can still be dangerous. So that's enough talking. Let's see how this goes. Again, I'm not super practiced with using this army composition. And even though I'm on the defense, technically, I would rather kind of scoot up and see how this works. Because, you know, having all cav kind of feels weird just to sit back and wait for the enemy to come to me. Right off the bat, we're going to be bringing our cav archers off to the side here to see if we can threaten their flank. And we'll be backing them up with our Yari cav to see if we can draw the enemy to fight us out on the flanks here and try to split them up. We can bring my heavy cav contingent like that. And then my infantry, again, just going to be kind of like a distraction piece and see if we can kind of draw the enemy in two halves. So right off the bat, they're going to be going wide with their cavalry, which is interesting. So they have decent cavalry as well in their force. So let's try to counter that. And let's also try to go wide, and so that we can contain them. If they're going to be going this extreme, I'm almost tempted to bring my infantry over to screen this force. Because at this point, like they're really going after it. So let's take this fight here. Let's bring heavy cav out here, go, 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 and go, go, go. And go here, and I mean they're so far away from their support. So let's see, not getting out of cav, getting into my cav archers. So that's not ideal. Can I get an attack order on? There we go. And you guys get a recharge into those Yari cav there. So I mean, yeah, we broke that Naginata cav there. My infantry are hustling to catch up, but we're not going to need them. I mean, they really let themselves get isolated. And we are going to be picking them off now. Let's get these cav into here now. And let's collapse in on this side. This side's pretty strong, so let's try to collapse in on them. And now let's get my cav archers off to the side here so that they can continue to harass the flanks of the enemy. And it looks like we're going to wrap them all up. So in this case, now we can get my infantry back facing the way that they need to be facing. So that's looking okay, and this heavy cav unit never got involved. And where's my general? My general's over here. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, they got wiped out. Okay. Yeah, so there's still 10 Naginata cav left, but that's almost the entire cav contingent wiped out there. Let's get my Yari cav. Yari cav got pretty banged up. But that's the nice thing about having 4 units of Yari cav is that, you know, you get a couple units banged up, you're fine. You still got a unit to run down the enemy armies here. So, all right, so they are going to be closing in on my infantry. And at this point, let's see here. So I want to keep running around here, and I'm tempted. Can I just send you to get rid of that Naginata cav? Just get rid of that. I just want them out of the way. And then let's bring my heavy cav to this side. Alright, so they still have, I mean, their infantry is strong. They have a lot of spears and Naginata. So I don't want to take the rest of their army for granted, you know? Like, they have the tools to defeat cavalry is what I'm trying to say here. So, yeah, they're coming in. They're attacking my infantry. So let's send cav around to get some attacks in here on that flank. And try to hit them there. And then let's come up here And yeah, you guys can get away, please. And then let's see here. These guys, I want to hit these spears from both sides, here and then here. And then Yari Cav can hit them from this side. Yeah, can you guys get out, please? Here and then here. Let's break these Yari Cav by trying to go in, boom, 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 and then try to hit them from all sides and try to swarm that group right there. Maybe even send in those heavy cav as well. And you guys got to go in there and try to hit them. Because, yeah, my infantry is definitely taking a beating here. But, yeah, it looks like we're wrapping up these Yari Samurai on this side. Yari Cav continue to get around. And now their archers and their general is exposed. So now we can get up here. And let's get into their archers in general. Here, here, here. We got some Yari Cav that are still available. Cav archers can make sure that you are running. Yeah, I need my Cav archers here and make sure... Ooh, that's not the right unit. Let's see. You go here. So we got heavy Cav assisting against their infantry. Now let's get Yari Cav and get a wrap there. And Cav archers. So yeah, they're going to fold up my infantry probably. But as long as my infantry continues to hold for as long as possible... Yeah, we should be breaking that. Yeah, their archers are getting broken, and here we go. Yari Cav, go in, go in, go in. And I'm tempted to get my Cav archers here. Let's take you guys off of wedge formation, and let's go here. So the enemy general's fleeing, so we got in on their archers here. And there we go, that's the break. So my infantry held on. I mean, it looks like, did they break? I can't tell. I know I gave them commands, like weird commands during that battle. Looks like, did the spears get wiped out to a man? I don't see any spearmen left. Holy crap. Yeah, that's actually kind of a tough battle. Yeah, lost 471 men. Cav archers got 16 kills. Yari Cav, 73, 78, and 45. And they all had... So this is the men remaining. So yeah, they got pretty beat up. And Cav archers got... 86 kills, 19, and 27, and they still had most of their men remaining. Heavy Cav got 35 kills, 71, and 101, and they still had a decent chunk of their guys, so they were fighting pretty well. Then Yari Samurai, 7 kills, 22 kills, and then 7 kills for that unit, so yeah, they didn't do much. But they held the ground, right? And archers as well, 17, 27, and 25. Yeah, the infantry really held their ground. And it looks like Yari Samurai had 8 men remaining, 9 men remaining, and 0 men remaining. So they pretty much got wiped out to a man. Honestly, a tough fight. But you can kind of see how this army is supposed to work. And of course, in a campaign, they will be getting their buffs from... honor buffs from Shinano and buildings and whatnot. And it's a really fun play style because as you've seen in my previous army compositions, it's, you know, when you're playing typically infantry heavy, that has its own benefits and rewards and, you know, pros and cons, and obviously, but playing a Cav faction it's a nice change of pace, you know, and it allows you to do things that you can't do with infantry armies, like run down an entire routed army. Like, you know, no one's going to be getting away. When you win battles with the Cav army, the enemy army just gets deleted. They do not escape at all. So that's going to be it for this one. And until next time, this has been Concept playing Shogun Total War. Thank you very much and goodbye.